Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambeau channel, and David Schwartz, who is Ripple's CTO and co-creator of the XRP Ledger, has announced that he has a surprise for Ripple's annual SWELL event, which is going to be coming up in just a couple weeks from now. Basically, it was an announcement that there will be an announcement made, and that's my favorite kind of announcement. It's the very best, Jerry, the best. Now, it was always interesting, though, because the XRP community, when something like that hits the scene on crypto Twitter, the XRP community dives in and begins a speculation all over the place. So I'm going to share with you what some people think it might be, and it's going to be a killer time here on the Moon Lambeau channel. But before we go any further, if you would please ever so delicately tap the like button, I would definitely appreciate the support, because if you are willing to do so, it's going to tell the YouTube algorithm that you don't completely hate this particular Moon Lambeau content, and then the YouTube algorithm will, in all likelihood, push this out onto more unsuspecting victims. So even if you hate it, it's kind of a win. Like, make others suffer through this Moon Lambeau content. It's a good time. And also, yesterday I made a note in one of my videos that you should subscribe to the Moon Lambeau channel, because if you do, you will become more intelligent and more physically attractive. And in fact, some of the things that you may notice, for instance, if you're a man, you may notice that you have a stronger jawline, more defined. Your skin may clear up. And if you have a receding hairline, it will suddenly become a proceeding hairline. And now I did warn, though, it could proceed so far that it might start to overtake your forehead, in which case the remedy is to just unsubscribe from the Moon Lambeau channel temporarily, and then once it recedes a bit, then you just kind of throttle it back and forth. And so I had a couple subscriber testimonials I wanted to share from you. Here's a testimonial from Hodl Zerps, because, guys, I'm not making this up. This is real stuff here. Hodl Zerps says, I subscribed to the Moon Lambeau YouTube channel over a year ago. I recently had to unsubscribe for about a week because my hair was proceeding too fast. Guys, it's a real thing. And he's got this little gif here, and you can see, look at the silky locks that this individual must have been experiencing, right? That's really something. And then from Moonchaser wrote, I concur. After subscribing to the Moon Lambeau channel, an unfortunate side effect is one becomes more irresistible. How hot? XRP hot. And enough to melt Bitcoin trolls' warm cottage cheese under a bridge. Yeah, those Bitcoin maxi trolls whose favorite food is room temperature cottage cheese is not going to be too thrilled about this. Now, so this story comes, funny enough, from a Kanye West tweet. Yes, indeed. Who wrote the following: Good morning, music world. These are two of the most powerful and knowledgeable people in music. All negotiations will be transparent. Artist will own masters. And then shared this little screen grab with two names on it. One is Mercierajris. Nailed it. And also Joel Katz. Well, how about that? We know that David Schwartz' screen name here, he is at Joel Katz on the Twitters here. And so David Schwartz saw this, and obviously, to be clear, it was pretty obvious. There's no way that Kanye West is referencing David Schwartz as some sort of musical genius, right? I mean, he's a genius. David Schwartz is a genius, quite literally. And so I was like, who is this guy? So I just to find out, because I wanted to make absolutely sure there's no chance in freaking hell that it's David Schwartz. I didn't think for a moment there was even a chance, but I was like, well, if I'm going to talk about it in a video, I better be damn sure so that I look like a little bit less of an idiot than I normally look like. And so indeed, it's just a prominent music lawyer. So there you go, whose actual name is Joel Katz. All right, and so David Schwartz responded, though, and wrote in response to Kanye's tweet, and this is the official Kanye Twitter account. You can see 30.9 million followers. David Schwartz responded, thanks, you are quite right. I know a lot about music stuff. Music things, too. I can also hook you up because I'm so powerful. Now, somebody named Val Jester Locke, and so obviously David Schwartz was tweeting, just kind of, joking around there, but Val Jester Locke wrote, David Schwartz, so no getting down at SWELL with sick beats by David. And here's where the interesting piece comes out. From David Schwartz, he tweeted out, I've been working on a pretty cool surprise for SWELL. It's actually where this guy, who, in my opinion, is clearly saying, actually, comes from. So take a look at this. He teased with this. It looks like a little 3D model of David Schwartz. And so maybe it's going to be his little companion buddy at the virtual Swell meeting this year, because thanks to the dumpster fire that is the year 2020, thanks pandemic, everything's virtual. So now it looks like he's got a little virtual avatar guy of himself right here. And so, of course, and fair enough, the XRP community was speculating, what might this be? XRP Yoda responded, PolySign. And XR Peacemaker responded, whispers, PolySign. So there's a few members of the community that think that perhaps this has something to do with PolySign. Now, I don't know what it could be. I guess I could have fun speculating as well, but that's as good a guess as any. I mean, I guess I don't have anything specific, but I suppose that I would guess that it would be actually more so something in line with something more specifically having to do with what Ripple is doing in terms of developing the Internet of Value. And positioning XRP as a bridge currency. I would think it would have something closer to that, because PolySign, that's a side project that David's working on with the likes of Arthur Britta, who is also a co-creator of the XRP Ledger. And PolySign, for those not in the know, it's a company that they're working on, and they're in stealth mode right now, big time. In fact, even David Schwartz is under a non-disclosure agreement, so I can't even really talk about it. I just like how excited he gets when it comes up. But the PolySign, they're going to be offering institutional-grade custody solutions. And this is going to be big. So we'll find out what this is going to be during Swell, which is coming up. It's going to be, this is the official Swell website here. It'll be October 14th and 15th. So I'll be tuning in everywhere I can to check this and, of course, cover it. It's going to be different. It's since it's going to be virtual. I was kind of looking forward to seeing another massive, impressive Ripple, what do you call it, set? I don't know, for lack of a better word. Last year, oh my gosh, their little section or there's, oh wait, or maybe I'm thinking of, Swift's event. Maybe that's what I was thinking of, because Ripple was invited there. I might be confusing the two, but there was regardless, there was an impressive setup. You just have to go look at it. Maybe I can pull up another video. I don't want to make you sit there and wait while I'm trying to figure out what it is the hell I'm talking about. It just entered my head, and this is like a stream of consciousness at this point. So I'll move on. But they had a really professional-looking thing, and I remember juxtaposing that towards what Ripple was doing at conferences like 6 years ago, where they just had a little fold-out table with a banner in front of it, and I was like, holy hell, this is quite an evolution, right? Well, Ripple's in the big leagues now, right? But as far as what PolySign's doing, my gosh, they could just rake in a fortune, right? Because, and let me explain why. And I'm going to run through this piece from Cointelegraph, just parts of it. It's really long, so just a couple parts of it. But it's titled, Banks Must Establish Infrastructure for Digital Assets Before It's Too Late. Well, what do you know? Maybe PolySign could help with something like this. Because it's very clear that cryptocurrency is here to stay. The federal government, if slowly, is still pretty well acknowledging this, and it's just a matter of having sufficient regulations in place so that people can safely and legally proceed as they wish to do in terms of, whether they're working in the world of blockchain or they're just investing in cryptocurrencies, whatever it may be, so that people can just proceed without a bunch of question marks over their head. But there's going to be a lot of entities that, as this all plays out, will want to offer custody to customers. And this is where things could get interesting for PolySign, and the timing for them could be quite fortuitous. So here's how the piece begins. The adoption of digital assets in traditional legacy systems is moving fast. In the middle of the year, the digital asset custody industry saw welcome developments when the Office of the Comptroller of the Currency officially announced that all nationally chartered banks in the United States can provide custody services for cryptocurrencies. Now, presumably, PolySign would not be limiting their activities to the United States. I don't know that that's been announced. They're in such a state of stealth that almost nothing is known. But anyway, the move, while positive for the ecosystem, is yet to be accompanied by a rigorous assessment of its technological infrastructure, like asking questions such as, where are these newly acquired digital assets stored? And so that's why I've always talked about, in terms of digital asset custody, I don't think that banks are going away. I just think there's going to be evolution in terms of the way that they go to market, and that they they make money, because it seems clear to me that there's always going to be a certain percentage of the population that will never want a bank to touch their cryptocurrencies. They want the private keys in their hands. They want the full responsibility on themselves. But there are other people that couldn't be more repulsed by that idea, and it's too scary. And they should get what they want to, which is custody. And I would hope that you could have an entity that's custodied that is also insured, so that if something goes wrong, those people are still going to be taken care of. But if you scroll down here, and again, I'm only going to cover a couple parts of this because I think I can make my points. It is a great piece if you guys feel like reading it, just hop on Cointelegraph. But they had this little subheading here. To build or to buy, banks offering custody will need to decide urgently. Look, I don't think that most banks are tech experts, and so that's why I'm thinking that a company like PolySign, if their offerings are genuinely that cutting edge and the utility's genuinely there, this is why I'm saying companies like PolySign, and maybe them specifically, could just make a killing. So take a look at this. While the move of the OCC is positive, it's important to recognize that the majority of banks simply do not possess the correct infrastructure to provide safe and compliant custody solutions. Banks can facilitate exchange transactions, settlements, trade executions, record keeping, valuation, and tax services, but the question lies in how they will be able to deliver these services while managing the risks. You cannot scale crypto asset markets or have traditional institutional adoption without the elimination of trading counterparty and settlement risk. So banks entering crypto custody will need tried and true crypto asset technology developed specifically for the industry and will inevitably face the build versus buy decision. So, unless they're planning to build from scratch, banks will need access to the right technology that can safely secure digital assets. And so there you go. Should a bank build their own technology for custody, or should they pay to have this taken care of for them? I would be willing, I'd hazard a guess that for most banks, the responsible decision would not be to build their own infrastructure, because they don't know what the hell they're doing, frankly. Get the pros that are in it, because look, you can't be a professional at everything. You can't. You need help from other businesses. And so that's the direction that I suspect this is going to go, but that could be really, really, really good for PolySign. And I still think that as far as cryptocurrencies, the ones that will have staying power, in my humble opinion, are the ones that are going to have utility. And so I fully envision a future where XRP is going to be held by banks, but on behalf of customers. I don't know that banks necessarily would ever need or choose to hold XRP or any cryptocurrency for themselves. It could happen, but in the near term, I don't see a need, because especially as far as XRP being positioned as a bridge currency, they don't need to hold it. Let others take the risk. People like you and me that are buying and selling, let us be the liquidity, and let cryptocurrency exchanges offer the liquidity, right? So there's no need for a bank to hold it, which is a huge point of, it's a huge selling point, frankly. But anyway, what do you think the surprise is going to be? At least we got this little teaser here of what David's little animated friend is going to look like. I'm for it. I'll tell you what, I'd take that over the little Windows 1995 paperclip helper, or whatever operating system it was from with Microsoft Word. I would take the David Schwartz over that. All right, that's it. Before, I'm sorry. Oh, never mind. I thought I saw something I want to read. I'll wrap it there. I am not a financial advisor. Do not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.